Showtime. Bitcoin moneymaker. Every angle to get in the crypto game. Welcome to all my fellow Bitcoin monkeys. I'm just sitting here watching Bitcoin as it hovers right below 11,000. We had that big resistance around 11,500 when we had that big sellback. We have these fancy things on the day chart I could go back to for a second if I'm quick, but the doji candles, which I guess are a rare sign of a market being confused right here, where you see the wicks on both sides of that little red candle where it went up and down, but the close was very narrow, and then you saw another one right here that was slightly positive. And if you have three in a row, that's a very rare sign that didn't end up happening, but I think that can be a very uncertain event that led to something bearish, but just very uncertain. Like all the people on Twitter, the advanced traders with lots of following, were all contradicting each other. Some people were super bearish, some people were bullish, people were saying like, oh, I had a dream this is going to happen. That really just means the market doesn't know what it wants yet. And these people that are on Twitter, like, you have to realize they have these thousands of followers. They need to spit out something. Like, they have an audience and they feel the need, they feel the pressure to take a stance, even if that stance is weak, because it's hard for someone with that sort of following, and especially when they try to be all witty all the time, to just be like, I'm just sitting and doing nothing and it's consolidating. I'm not really sure what's going to happen yet. So I'm just kind of watching it. And this isn't very good for the Ichimoku cloud because it's such a raise overall. But if we want to go to a shorter time frame, I was on the hour before. And you can see right now it is slightly bullish, but not really. The price has broken through the cloud. It has twisted from a bearish cloud to a bullish cloud. I mean, now it's crossing below the Tenkin line. Before it was above, so it was a little bit more bullish. This, I think it's the Chico line. This one is also above both the price and the cloud, and it was pointing up earlier, but now it's turned down. And as you can see, this is turning down. You can see it across the Tenkin. So, and the volume on this raise, another thing you can easily look at is this volume was super low. I mean, these bars are higher, these bars are higher. I mean, what is that? If we go over this one for the hourly candle, see what we get. This makes it ugly though when you float over it. This one's 44 million versus over here we're talking like 4 million volume. And even down here when it had this little drop, this is 28 million, 19 million an hour. So the volume's weak, so it doesn't really prove much. And the Ichimoku cloud is definitely, it's slowing down. So the market still seems like it's consolidating. It doesn't know what it wants. So I've stayed out of Bitcoin, bull or bear. I love this Ichimoku cloud even though I'm brand new to it, because it really makes you sit back and wait for all these signals to align before you dive in. I could dive in with a little bit of money and kind of play like an arcade scheme, trying to catch this up and down. I think I need to become a better trader overall before I start doing that sort of stuff. And the more I've read about the hedge funds and some guys on Twitter, most of them say, over the long term, picking the right coins is going to make you more money than all these little trades added up. Because if you pick big winners, stars over time, like Bitcoin, but other ones as well, and you get that portfolio down and you make the trades on the huge dips and you really study and know when to get in, that will make you more money over the long term. And we can see Crypto Rand here, one of my favorite Twitter traders. He's really respected for his TA, and that's all he does is spit out charts. But he's saying like he loves TA, but he's tracking 150 coins constantly on this blurred out Excel sheet, looking at their teams, looking at their market cap, looking at their performance, looking at their roadmap, seeing if anything's getting in the way, kind of some fundamental analysis, and like the emotions of what's going on mixed with numbers. So he's really looking for winning horses more than anything, and he does do trading as well, but that's just kind of the cherry on the sundae. And also the hedge fund edge, I'm like 3/4 of the way through. This book also was saying that's one of the biggest things is you need to pick the right star stocks and follow them very closely. Those will get you, it keeps preaching over every decade. Markets change pretty rapidly on what is very lucrative, whether it's real estate or it was Japanese stocks in the 80s or it was oil or it's gold or whatever it is. It seems like the trend is always changing within a decade or so period. I don't know if that's psychological or just natural for markets. Every decade kind of is clearly defined culturally, but also in markets and in trends. That 10-year period, I think it's because it's, such a section of human life, such a portion of a generation. It seems to have an effect. So it says you got to keep agile and you got to keep looking for that next trend. Like Amazon is a huge example for us, in Google, in our lifetimes, in the recent past, that they're these stars that keep growing, and you want to try to pick those. So I've started my own really terrible sheet here that's just starting. I'm looking at Cardano and Stellar Lumens as the next ones. Um, I hold, as far as my holding coins, I hold Bitcoin, Neo, Ethereum, and IOTA. And I was about to dump IOTA, and they've had some wallet problems where my IOTA is actually in custody of the foundation, and there's this reclaiming process going on. It's in a beta stage, and there's a lot of bugs to be worked out, and the Tangle is a very complicated thing, even though it's supposed to be like a simplified blockchain. It's not like a blockchain at all, but it's supposed to be one meant for the future and billions of machines talking to each other, and it's simplified because one node passes on its message to the next two nodes, etc. And so those are the only four, and a little bit of Monero. That's the only ones I consider holding. Everything else I consider purely speculative. But I'm trying to look for more stars coming up that I do want to hold, and I do want to give like a solid percentage of my portfolio, even if it's just 3%, 5%, where it's a mainstay. So Cardano is one, and that one started off with a big market cap, I think 200 million, but it's just exploded recently. You can see right here. I don't even bother looking at the US price. I just look at the Bitcoin price. You can see it's gone way up. The main points, just to go off the bat, is that it's supposed to be a futuristic version of Ethereum that has layered protocols. It's getting ready with metadata for regulation, security, anti-quantum computing, flexibility, different languages to program in, all that stuff. So it's supposed to be very flexible for the future and learn from Ethereum's, not mistakes, but grow on top of what Ethereum has done. And I think one of the guys in this used to be the CEO of Ethereum, if I'm not mistaken, for a while. I think back in 2015 or something. So that's an interesting guy. But it's an interesting thing. Like one of their other sites, I think it's made by a company called IOHK, which is Input Output Hong Kong. It's like very markety, like copyright. Like, we have the best encryption ever. We have the best system ever. This is the most futuristic blockchain ever. And it seems like they're not going to have really a working product for a while. I think at least a half year. But I need to look into that. I'm reading this more. And then Stellar Lumens is another one, which specializes in fast transactions, fast, cheap transactions from fiat currencies to digital currencies, and everything's held by these anchors. It's kind of like PayPal on steroids that deals with all currencies and all digital currencies, and it's supposed to be lightning fast and really cheap. And there's this distributed ledger where all the nodes kind of have a record of what's going on with all these transactions, and it's updated every 2 to 5 seconds. So it's built perfectly to be a PayPal on steroids. And I think IBM or someone else had an interest in this a couple months ago, but it seems like there's a lot of people that are bullish on this. So I'm looking at this one and keep looking at the chart, and I keep trying to keep it in mind, and I want to dig further. I want to get down into the Slack and Discord of these things and build out that Excel sheet that I was showing before briefly, and really like meet it out and see what parameters I like and I want to follow. So that's a big thing. And then back to cloud mining on NiceHash. I'm doing Dash right now. I did Vertcoin yesterday. I got a 60% gain, then I got a 60% loss after, even though on the CoinWars chart it was number one and the price I was paying wasn't much more. I don't know the reason for that. And the mining pool I was using took forever to pay out. I don't know if they had lag or something happened where it wasn't stable, so I didn't get. So it's very like I haven't figured out the code yet. I've pretty much broken even or lost a little bit of money, but I feel like if I experiment more, I'll learn more. I feel like every time I put in a batch, I learn more and I become more patient. But we'll see. I think stuff like this though, this cloud mining, as more coins come on, I think that this will grow at least until mining phases out, how many ever years or decades down the road, and everything becomes proof of stake or something like that. Just because doing, these mining farms just gets ridiculous for the amount of power and everything else, and maybe they'll be outlawed. Who knows? But I want to keep messing with this. It's just kind of like a fun side game, but if it becomes profitable, that's it's gonna be nice. And I started a chart here too, just for fun to start. There's other ones I've tried. I'm gonna add those too, but this is just to track. I can see if I can see any patterns of like what was the profitability on Coin Wars, what was I paying for the hash rate, what pool was I using, what was the max hash rate I was using, how long did it go, and all these other questions, and try to see if I can find out any patterns or one that may be profitable. And then on to lending chain group, still live, still paying out. I got, I think, 160 some today, 166, something like that. Shoveling over to BitConnect, so now I'm 1,800 out of chain group, out of the original 5,000, shoveled over to BitConnect. So I'm going to see if I can make this loan right now. Firm, okay, and then it's paying crap interest again. I think it was like 0.1 today or something like that. But the average is still decent. There's my extra 20, so that's 190 today. And then again, my goal is to keep shoveling over until January 5th when Chain Group comes back from the holidays, or at least a lot of their trade groups do. And then hopefully they're still alive after January 5th. Then I'll keep rolling in Chain Group. And my ultimate goal is to get a payout of 400 a day. And then I'll start taking out until I get all my initial capital out and a 20% profit. And then I'm going to keep rolling again, and try to get up to, like, I don't know, maybe 800 or 1,000. And I may start spreading the money out into USI Tech or something like that, something else that I see is more stable out of all these programs, and try to make a big snowball that keeps rolling. And so if any of these die out, I still have more that can make money. I think that at least one or two of these and all these horses that are coming up, this second generation, Western Coin, USI Tech, Hextra Coin, Regal Coin, etc., some of them I think will last a year. I really do. With all this money coming in the market and all these people coming in, they may all shut down and it may all crumble, but I think that's going to be at least a year away, and I think you can make some good money within the next year. We will see, though. We'll see. I mean, the market cap on BitConnect, it was shot down to 600 billion. Now it's back up to 949 billion. We'll see how long this all lasts. And then again, my favorite, my savings account, HASHFLARE, keeps climbing. As you can see, the $1.40 payout. I think tomorrow I may get my first $2.80 reinvest, because it's in denominations of 140, and I think I have enough now that every other day I'll have enough left over that I'll meet that $2.80 requirement. So this snowball keeps rolling, because now it's a daily reinvest, and I've had some of my highest payouts of 19,000 satoshis, 19,000 satoshis, 18,300, and again, I started with 2.8 invested, and then in a year I would get 6.3 million, so that's over double. So I want to keep seeing this grow. Hopefully I want to see this get up to like 6.8 million, 7 million within the next month, and keep growing. If it starts fading down and all these numbers start fading down, I'll think about starting to pull out what I've put in so far. But as long as this grows, I'm happy to keep reinvesting as this number keeps growing. And that's it for today, guys. Check out Cardano, check out Stellar Lumens, read books on all this stuff, follow good people that have a very grounded mindset in how to make a lot of money, and they have a system and they're disciplined. As always, the rest is up to you.